Hey, Chris, I see that you're there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Shit, is it just me and
Okay.
you?
It might be today. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's five people. Yeah, so it looks like just me and you right now. Figured I'll unmute you and we can just talk
Okay,
through
I've got
if
my
that's
two
that's
guys
good with
on
you.
here too, I think.
Okay, awesome. Well, feel free to ask questions, guys. I try to do this once a week, and then of course, like if it's a small session, obviously it's easier for you guys to ask questions. Have you started selling point before? Is this kind of new to you? What's kind of been going on with your team and obviously in the point world?
So it's new to us. We have a ton of opportunity with it in the food truck and more recently farmers market space, where we're starting to get in front of like decision makers for an entire association. So to kind of give you an example, I know that you had heard of the Food Truck Association in Utah.
Yep.
Has a couple hundred members that we have. We're as soon as we get this one to, it's kind of a weird situation. He's still on board, but something happened to him last week that slowed it down by about a week. Excuse me. So we should be getting that first one deployed out to him next week, I would imagine, and then he's going to beta it. And we're going to try to get him to push it a little bit faster because we can get a $100 rebate on contactless through the end of July
Got it.
from Visa. So we're going to try to push that, and then we had a couple pretty promising calls with some farmers markets last week. The one out in Oregon actually has a potential, like it's a federation over top of like 200 markets. So the reach would be about 3,500 potential merchants to get out there. So, you know, obviously we're not going to get total engagement. I mean, I think 10% engagement would be a massive success, but we'll see. I mean, but we're starting to come across a lot of these opportunities, and I want to make sure that we have some, we're able to kind of speak to the product to be able to move it quickly when need be.
Yeah, that sounds good. So let's do this, guys. I'm going to go through, let's just say about like 15 minutes. I'll just speak. I'm going to keep you guys on mute, and then we'll do questions at the end. This way I can just get through at least the initial, here's what Poynt is, here's what Poynt is out of the box, and then we'll go into some more details. Does that sound good with you guys?
That's perfect.
All right, awesome. And then I'm going to record this. Actually, it is recorded just in case you guys need it for future use. But this is Joey Marzelli, co-founder of Boomtown. Obviously, we're going to go over Poynt sales training. We're going to talk about Poynt, what it is out of the box. If you send a Poynt terminal to a merchant today, what comes with it. And then basically, we're going to talk about some of the third-party applications. Poynt HQ, which is free for all merchants, which is the online, basically access to your merchant portal. But I do have a sales hub. A sales hub is where basically you guys can go in, you can see all the third-party apps, you can see marketing, collateral, kits, things that you guys can utilize on your own. I'll make sure that you guys get this link. I also have a knowledge base. What's nice about the knowledge base is you're out in the field or you're at your desk and someone's asking questions about different features, different functionality. Of course, you guys can always utilize me, but just really easy to go here and search. It's mobile optimized, so you can use it on your phone. But just kind of different sales verticals, how the different applications work. I keep it very general. It's very sales focused. So again, it's, it's speaking to people who are kind of in your position. And then, we're going to talk about not just the Poynt dual screen, but we're going to talk about the Poynt 5, which might be really useful for you guys because a lot of food trucks use the Poynt 5. The Poynt dual screen is the first Poynt that was ever created. It basically has a terminal application and a register application. So in the native software, when you download the terminal, you have basic functionality like a basic POS. It's Wi-Fi. There is 3G terminals. You can get 3G if needed. There's also the Ethernet port. You can do EMV, PIN chip, EBT, NFC, Apple Pay, Android Pay. So it's all future-proof, right? It takes all payment types. The customer checkout screen does tip adjustment, signature, email receipt. There's actually a printer embedded in the device right there. So you can actually print a receipt right in the device. You don't have to buy additional hardware. So I like to call it the all-in-one like smart terminal, right? It's basically everything you need for a small to medium-sized business. And then I'm going to talk more about obviously the third-party apps, which are more focused around obviously more sophisticated and larger businesses. But there is a Poynt 5, which is like half the price. I I think food trucks really like the Point 5 because you have these sleeves to the right, which is a printer sleeve or an extended battery. They are 3G as well. So you get a 3G SIM card, and then you're able to take payments out in the field. The benefit also is that it's half the price of hardware. It doesn't have the printer embedded. It doesn't have the dual screen. Same software, though. It does have the terminal application. It does have the register application with modifiers, discounts, fees. So, my sale to those types of merchants is like, hey, instead of using a Square dongle on your phone, you might as well have a professional payment device. And I think the price point for it is pretty, it's pretty substantial. And with everything that you get a lot of value again out of the box, in comparison to other POS or just basic terminals. And we'll go over kind of like what the Point 5 is compared to those basic terminals. But what's included for all Poynt merchants? So again, they all get the register application. It holds up to like 50 items with modifiers. They can build that menu online. They can build it right here on the terminal. There's a built-in barcode scanner. You can attach a cash drawer and printer, but there is a built-in printer that has mobile HQ online for reporting. It has permissions by employee. So if me and Chris were, if I was a manager and he was the owner, maybe I have less permissions. Where if Tom over here was the employee, he can't do refunds. Every employee can have a clock-in number, so you can actually track reports by employees. But all merchants get access to Poynt.net and then Poynt HQ, where they can see all their transactions. They can see, all their sales. There's actually loyalty invoicing that is new on Poynt. You can pay more for that. Those packages are coming out soon, but you'd see all those tabs right here, so you'd have the ability to really run your business, again, from your mobile phone or from your desktop at home. There is a QuickBooks integration. It's $5 a month. It's called DataSync. It's built by Poynt, so the merchant just puts in their credit card information. They log into their QuickBooks, and it's a pretty seamless integration. The reports are just basically reflecting on their QuickBooks as they do on the Poynt terminal. But again, that is $5 a month. That's called DataSync. The mobile device, which is also pretty neat, is it has a keyed-in transaction functionality, so I can do a keying transaction away from the terminal, so kind of a virtual terminal on my phone. Again, that is keyed in rates though, so it's not swiping a credit card. There's no like dongle or anything like that. But it's just nice that you can never miss a payment. It is multi-mid. There's multi-language: English, Italian, Spanish, Mandarin, French. So here in California, we have a lot of terminals going back and forth between English and Spanish. There's robust analytics for multi-location reporting, so I can get a report by terminal, by location with multiple terminals, by locations. It is kind of enterprise ready and built for that. Boomtown also provides 24/7 support on the terminal, so we do chat and video support. We don't actually show the Boomtown logo or anything like that, so they just think it's Poynt support. So that's actually available for all your merchants. Again, it's called Connect. They slide for help. You get immediate chat and text and video support, which is pretty awesome. A cool value add for for future-proof terminals, and just saying do you have a terminal where you get 24/7 support right on it? And then here's the hardware and the printers that are basically compatible with the Poynt device. When the merchant goes onto their Poynt HQ online, they actually see these devices, so they're actually able to go on there and see what hardware is compatible and where they can get it on the Amazon store. They can also order paper online as well. If you're in that business, great. You guys can block that from them, but obviously it's great to know that if they're a larger business, they have the ability to get a kitchen printer, get a cash drawer. Obviously, it's built for larger businesses. Two POS applications that are on there is Talik and eHopper. I absolutely love them. Talik is really good for like full service restaurants, QSR. eHopper is really good for retail. They both hold up to like 40,000 items. They have inventory management. They have loyalty, gift cards, everything kind of built into the platform. So they're a full-edged POS, more expensive, but a great solution again if your food truck or that cafe starts asking for more features that that is not in the basic Poynt terminal. There's cash discount, surcharge applications available. There's appetizer, order ahead, factor 4 gift cards. True rating is actually customer feedback. So this is just kind of a quick overview, but there's also Homebase, which is pretty popular. One I like to talk about a lot is Manglement. It's a high-end POS and salon software, so it does basically online scheduling and booking. It's a beautiful UI. It's a competitor to MindBody and Booker. So if you guys have any type of, if you have any type of merchant that is a high-end POS or salon, they have the ability to utilize the Manglement application on their Poynt terminal. it basically semi-integrates the Poynt terminal. You can check out the schedules, you can check someone out, but most of it is integrated with their website, and then their team will help you with the training. Their team will help you with actually doing demos for your merchant, and that's the same for Tally and eHopper. In our sales hub, you can go in there and they'll actually do demos for your merchant on these different pieces of software. And then if we're moving on to Homebase, very popular on the Clover terminals, which is the HR employee management tool. Does employee clock in, clock out, team scheduling. This is actually free. Most of their features. So what's nice about that being free is I just add it to my sale. If I'm going to email a merchant or talk about it, I just say we have employee management built into the experience. And it's kind of a no-brainer for any merchant that has over 5 employees to be using Homebase. So I just kind of add that to the sale. Another neat thing about Poynt is Ethor. If your merchant has Aloha, Micros, or Dinaware, there are specific versions of those, but you can basically go in there and say, I have your EMV compliant, PCI compliant terminal, your pay at the table terminal. It's a semi-integrated terminal for these devices, so they would keep the behavior exactly the same, right? They'd be using the Aloha, the Micros, the Dinaware the same way they would. They'd just be using the Poynt terminal as their payment device, and you guys would own 100% of the processing. So pretty awesome, obviously to go after a different vertical, go after those legacy merchants who can't afford to move off this expensive legacy hardware that they've, basically they started using. Byron's great to work with. He'll do demos. He'll help join your sales calls, and he'll go over all of it with you. So feel free to reach out to him if it's something that you guys are focused on. They're building out new packages on Poynt. So there's going to be like a sophisticated package that's a little bit more expensive, but basically it has recurring payments, invoicing, store forward, offline payments, inventory management. So everything we talked about prior to this, right, is the whole, you get the register application, you get the terminal app, you get the online reporting, you get to do batch out settlements, everything like that. But these features will help you sell to larger merchants. It's going to be more expensive. There's a beautiful loyalty feature that they just built as well, which is tracking your customer spend. It's getting all your customer data, their emails, information, so you can build a really good ROI use case off the Poynt terminal. But I'll be emailing everybody about that when it's released. I will be spending a lot of time making sure that you guys have good marketing and good material around that. I also built this. How does it compare to old terminals? Of course, I think Poynt it's a no-brainer in today's world. It's just as expensive as another EMV terminal, but you're also going to retain the merchant a lot more because you have a lot more features. And in my mind, it's like you might as well go get those medium-sized merchants with a Poynt terminal than spend a bunch of time trying to close a bunch of other terminals that people can just wipe. Anybody can come in there. Any junkhead can come in there and just say, I do better processing, wipe your terminal, and then reprogram it. Poynt is actually, it's a close-off terminal, so there's a pretty detailed process if you want to wipe a terminal and get it reprogrammed. It's not as easy as you just go into a store and do it. So there's, for retainment, I'd say that the Poynt terminal does a lot better. Obviously, keeping your clients, it gives them a lot of value out of the box than a traditional terminal. When compared to other smart terminals, I think Clover obviously can be pretty expensive if you're buying the station. It has a heavy software fee. Square has a $1,000 register station, which is new. It's a beautiful station, I gotta say, but that's pretty damn expensive, especially with a 2.75% per transaction. The key component of Poynt that really kicks, which really kicks butt is that Verifone's Carbon, Ingenico Axiom, the PAC 920, all these smart terminals that are coming out, they don't have a terminal or register application built into them. And Poynt has that. And that's pretty damn awesome. So that's like, you go buy these terminals and you have to go find your own payment app and own terminal app. Poynt actually has it built in, which is pretty great. So that's where the key difference is of why I sell Poynt over the other traditional or smart terminals is that you don't have to go shop for more. There's a lot in the native software. I don't have to, I can get third-party apps, but I don't need them to run my business. When we started the program, I walked around with one of the reseller ISOs here in San Francisco, and these were some good leading questions I was using to kind of start the conversation. I'd always start with the, hey, do you remember making the migration from your flip phone to your smartphone? And they'd always, look a little confused, and that's okay, right? It's all about starting the conversation, but just saying to them, that brick terminal right there, we have a smart terminal. Take a look. It is kind of like that. It's kind of making your migration from your flip phone to your smartphone. It's going to, it does the same thing as your old terminal does in regards to taking payments, but it does a whole bunch more to obviously make your life a lot easier and do reporting for you and making, close out, even a batch out at the end of the night much easier and much easier for your employees. Have you ever managed your business from home? You know, do you pay a lot for that Clover station, but you really don't use all the features? How do you manage your employees? Again, you guys are obviously good at what you do, but just some of the leading questions that have helped me. And then I have a bunch of those articles about different softwares we talked about. And then you guys can have my email right here, Poynt Sales. So let's do this. I'm going to unmute everybody, but let's go into some questions, and I'm going to bring you into Poynt HQ, which is the online portal that the merchant has. I think Shelly just joined us from Clearant, and then I have Chris. I'm going to unmute you both, so feel free to ask questions.
Hey, so I have a question about the Talik integration. Would it be similar to the, are you actually running the Talik software through the Poynt, or is it just going to be for payments only?
That's a great question. So there is a semi-integrated solution for the Talik POS, but actually, which is awesome, is that the Talik software is a full integration on the Poynt terminal. So you can use the full integration. And let me see if I have some, I'll see if I have some pictures of that and how that works. Give me one moment. Talik. I have this older webinar that kind of shows it, but basically, okay, here we go. Boom. Where that? So here's basically the setup, right? You can use the countertop Poynt terminal as it is, or you can basically have the Poynt terminal interact with the iPad or Elo station, but the software is fully integrated to the Poynt terminal. So you can do, you can have a menu on there, you can do customer loyalty, all that on the Poynt terminal by itself. The only reason I would basically use a station is if I wanted to see a table map. You can still do delivery, order in, takeout, but if I wanted to do like a table map, I would probably get an Elo station or an iPad involved, not use just the Poynt terminals. But great for order at the table, you know, intelligent ticket routing, you know, having different types of, you know, kitchens and you know, bars and everything like that, having a patio, you know, have it so you're having online orders, you're having takeout, dine in, all those, you know, obviously different types of receipts going back to the kitchen. You know, it's really built for the full service QSR.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions of some of the things that we've covered so far? All right, cool. Let me
Hey, hold on. I think Eric's trying to ask you a question, but possibly he can't. I'm going to have him type it and send it to me. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Would you be able to send us, this is my question, but would you be able to send us these decks that you have so we can kind of cut and paste them and put them together as PDFs?
Of course, of course. I have a demo account I'm going to show you guys right now. Basically, it's Marzelli Deli, and what we have here is this is the online reporting that the customer gets. So they can do their dashboard weekly, monthly, yearly. Not a lot of data in here, of course, it being kind of a demo. But if I go to store on the top, you can see that they can order paper, they can order the hardware, additional hardware if needed. So pretty awesome that they just have this all available for the merchant.
Okay.
I like that you can order paper as you need it. If I click on business, this is actually my device, so I get multi-terminal reporting, but I have one store with one terminal, so pretty easy. I have my information. I can do device users. I can set up different permission settings and different users for my terminal, and then I can do web users, which is the same thing, set up different users for my terminal and giving them different access. And then I have messaging where basically if someone ever replies to an email receipt, it actually goes here so you can talk with your customers. When I go to products, this is where I actually build the menu. I can create a catalog. I can actually add in different products, taxes, discounts. I can actually, when I go to products, I can upload a CSV file, really easy to use. When I go to support, I can basically customize who I want this to go to. If it's the actual reseller, let's say like it's Vivid Payments, the ISO, you know, I can have it so every time they want to go and put in feedback, where it just goes to my ISO or my reseller, it would be obviously your group. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to sales and reporting. If I go to sales here, there's obviously different, you guys understand how obviously this works, but items, employees, terminals, customers. I can actually see all my customers, the average spend. These are all my customers so far. If I have their email, if they basically put in their email for a receipt, I'll actually get their email. Transactions, I'll, obviously I can do refunds here. I can resend them the receipt. Invoices, I can actually create an invoice and email it to the customer. On the right side, it's going to show you the experience. So once I actually create that invoice, I email it to the customer receives the email and they're able to pay the invoice online. There's settlements and reporting, all pretty easy to use for merchants and to create. Here's my settlement. I can generate a report again, however I want to see that report, by employee, by location, by terminal. And then Poynt Loyalty, which is new, is basically I can build campaigns and have it so they can build, there's kind of this loyalty feature where I can even basically have it so if I go into Marzelli Deli all the time, I have the ability to have a card on my Apple Wallet and utilize that card for customer spend. But I can also choose what I want here, what my free reward is, what my items are here. So that's a fast overview, but just really kind of showing you how awesome and diverse Poynt.net is. It's all kind of basically built for your customer. If I go to Poynt apps, I'm not sure, this sometimes works. For some reason, it doesn't work. That's why I built the Sales Hub, which I'll show you guys right now. Let me just show you that. Poynt Sales Hub. And what I'll do is I'll message everybody this right now. I think someone just asked me a question as well, so give me 1 second. I'm going to chat the entire audience. I'm going to put our Sales Hub here, and then I'm going to put our knowledge base. And so I just chatted you all the knowledge base. Again, the knowledge base is where I can search for features. Like if I want to say inventory management, I can, I can just search for that and learn more about that on the Poynt terminal. The Sales Hub is where I have past webinars. I can sign up for the email list if you guys want to get more information monthly about Poynt. And then I have all the basically the apps here. There's a one pager for each of them. If you need sales and marketing material, just visit the Sales Hub right here. And then it basically gives you all these different marketing kits, release notes, all that stuff is in here. Mm-hmm. And then let me go to the questions. I know some of you are asking, give me 1 second. And Chris said, so I work in a food truck and wanted to see how the orders that are placed through the Poynt system and how it'll reach the guys that are cooking. For example, once the order is placed, how will it be reviewed in the kitchen staff? So you can go to receipt types. Let me actually go to my knowledge base. I'll show you guys different receipt types. But we can assign different receipt types to the different printers. So if I had a kitchen printer, this is my payment receipt, obviously, which is I don't need customer receipt, but then the order receipt. So I can have an order receipt go back there, or an item receipt, which is obviously more common for kitchen printers, assign it so they get an item receipt every single time it goes back into the kitchen printer. And basically that's all done through your receipt printer preferences on your terminal. So you get order receipt, item receipt, payment receipt, or customer receipt, and you can assign what receipts go to what terminals.
So, and then to kind of elaborate on that, we were actually looking at an add-on app, the kitchen display. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, the kitchen display. So let me go there too. So basically there's a KDS screen, kitchen display. So as you guys can see, I'm doing this all through the knowledge base I built for you guys. It looks like I think it's $7 a month.
Yeah. How much?
The pictures aren't showing up, but $7 a month, I believe.
Okay,
or yeah,
cool.
$6.99 a month. I have a link for it right here. If you go to the Sales Hub, there's also, I believe it's in here. Give me 1 second. KDS screen. Yeah, kitchen display. Just click on this, and I take you right to the page on basically how it works.
How would they?
All right.
Do you? I mean, I can look into this, but maybe you might know offhand. How would somebody in the kitchen mark an order as complete? Would they have to like yell it out, or would they would need a Poynt terminal back there, wouldn't they?
No, they just need a screen you're saying for the kitchen display?
Yeah, on the kitchen. So say that they have 10 orders up and they mark one of them complete. How would they, if they just had a screen back there, and it would have to be a touch screen, wouldn't it?
So it's not like a bump screen, unfortunately, but what they can do is basically, if they just have a screen that's connected to the internet, it can be any kind of screen connected to the internet, whether it be an iPad or just basically a computer screen. They just go to their Poynt.net account and they log into their KDS screen and then they'll just see the KDS orders. And then they can go in there with like a mouse and basically like complete the orders. But it's not a bump screen, unfortunately.
If I was in the kitchen and I was running out, like if we were using this as like just to give you an example, like, you know how like the fast food places, they have like the order times and stuff like that. If we were in a food truck, you know, tracking all that, how would you move, you know, how would you do the complete, you know, to close the order, change it to complete unless you had a system back there? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is what the fastest way for a cook to do this would be, you know?
Yeah, so unfortunately in the native software of Poynt, there's no like, here's your order, is the order complete or not? Sure. With the kitchen display app, you can see the order and then you can click on complete order. And so if you have an iPad or something like that, it's easy to use it as a touchscreen. So you can just basically click complete order and you can even choose what part is completed. But in the native software, unless you're using like Talik or eHopper, there's no way to have basically, you know, save orders that are counting down and having, you know, basically, you know, showing their availability.
Okay.
Yeah, so the native software isn't great in my mind for a really substantial QSR. It's really good for SMB. Again, it's a smart terminal. Like I made that, like you said, it's like changing your flip phone to an iPhone, right? You're migrating these guys to an iPhone, but then when it comes to some of the more sophisticated businesses, you know, and you know that your merchants ask for everything, right? I'd say that like 70% of your merchants are going to be fine with the native software. The other ones might need some of these third-party apps to obviously do well. There's also this new, I'm talking about it on Wednesday. It's a bar tabs app. Let's see, bar tabs. Yeah, pre-authorization of bar tabs. And basically you can do all these different types of orders there. And you can pre-authorize an actual order, start a tab. And then basically once you swipe the credit card, it puts the person's name in and then you can close them out whenever you want. But pretty easy to use. I actually have a webinar on Wednesday about that, which is pretty great.
Yeah, we're on that one too.
So they're going to come and kind of demo that. And again, it's like, you know, merchants don't want to pay for that. It's like, great, you know, how much can I do for you? You know, it's like either, you know, you can upgrade or you can just use the basic software, and the basic software should get you at least what you need for, you know, a handful of it. Any other questions? Anything else, guys, I can kind of go over in more detail? Your pricing should obviously come from who you're selling through. I can't do any pricing for you, but the third-party apps in our sales hub will have pricing on the third-party apps. But, you know, in regards to your hardware, software, that should all come from your provider.
Okay.
But I did chat you guys these links. I can email you. Feel free to email me if you guys don't mind. Just Joey at who's ever on here right now, goboomtown.com. I will also chat you my email. Just chat me and say, hey, I was on there today. When I get back to my office, I will, I'll shoot you guys the deck just so you have the deck as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, everybody else good?
Yep, I think we're pretty good.
All right, awesome, guys. Feel free to reach out if you need me. I just sent you that information, but look forward to obviously working with you guys. Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye bye.